What's going on, guys? Robert here, BP News. What's going on, guys? Major breaking news. We're just here to kind of go through what's happening. It's all hitting the fan. It's literally hitting the fan. If you haven't been watching the news cycle, and I personally haven't been deep into the news today, I just really kind of got to the news about an hour ago. And I'm just, my wife was kind of telling me on the back channels, but I really, when I started looking at what's happening, I'm like, this is it. This is it. This is the big one. This is the big one, Elizabeth. Is Elizabeth in the house, by the way? Elizabeth, are you here? This is the big one, Elizabeth. I'm just going to say right now, all of you out there in BP News land, I want to welcome you all tonight. We're going to go through a whole bunch of news. And I'm going to break down for you guys and show you the big picture as well as the macro, the micro as well as the macro picture. It's so important to take a step back and look at the big picture, because really, if you're too close to a situation, you don't always see the forest through the trees, right? And so we're going to be looking at all the different connecting dots that are shaping up to be what I believe to be World War III. This is World War III. I mean, history is going to look back, and whatever's left, if there is anything left, who knows? I mean, this could very well be the prelude to the biblical scenario of as Trump said, I will not let the end of the world happen in the Middle East. It will happen no matter what. It's going to happen. When we say the end of the world, we all have that different. Everybody has a different belief about what's coming or what happens after, where the world is going to be. If you do have a biblical worldview, then you're seeing what's happening and it's lining up with biblical prophecy, especially when Trump is doing all these things that line up. If you don't know your biblical prophecy, then you're sitting back wondering what I'm talking about. I'm just telling you, Trump is fulfilling a lot of biblical prophecy. And I don't know, some would say that's being done with purpose and intent just to deceive people, and that they're trying to, make it look like this is a biblical event, or that this is truly prophecy that was predicted long ago from the very hand of God himself through his prophets, because it is perfectly lining up. We're talking about countries in the right positions. We're talking about technology. We're talking about just things that you really need to study to be able to see. And I can't go into all that right now. We're just going to go through the news tonight. I will probably talk about faith in some parts, sprinkled all throughout, but I'm going to really get into what's happening geopolitically and how that might connect, and how I believe it does connect to the coming World War III. And is that World War III defined in Scripture? I think it is. So we'll kind of try to put that piece in there too. But let's get into the news. Oh, before we do, make sure that you download the app. The BP News app is out. It's been out since the first of the year, and we told you all that this was going to be the app that was going to alert everybody when all the big events began. This was before anything really hit the fan. We told you that it was about to hit the fan, and the reason why we made the app was so that we could keep and stay connected to our audience, because we believe that it's going to affect social media with censorship. We think censorship is coming once again. We also want to make sure that everybody gets the alerts in case they do shadow ban us, or in case they do mute our influence. When, our subscribers don't get notifications, well, we're going to send you a notification right directly to your phone. And you're going to see everything right there where we're at if you happen to lose us, because we've had this happen in the past where they delete our channels for no reason. They just delete our channels. Now, they're doing that to a few YouTubers right now. We've already seen one of the big channels having gone through a lot of censorship, just recently lost a channel, and I'm kind of wondering if this is where we're going. So anyways, just on the back end of that, keep connected. That's all you need to do, is keep connected to us. BP News app in the Apple Store and also in Android. Okay? Thank you very much for your attention to this matter. Thank you very much for your attention to this matter. It's like Trump's always like that. He's always like trying to like hold back. Like it's like he's like gotta. He doesn't do this as much anymore. You notice he doesn't do this as much because everybody was saying this is 666. You know, when you do this is 666. There's a 6 and another 6 and another 6. You know, that you don't want to do too much. So Trump kind of doesn't do that as much anymore. But he still does this. Like it's like he's in a box. He's trying to Trump derangement syndrome. This is my Trump derangement syndrome. Jeff Jager is now a member. Woohoo! We got members over on the Coffee Club. So you want to be a part of the Coffee Club, get connected over there. The links are for that in the description as well. Thank you very much, Jake. Okay, let's get into it. Wow. All I can say is wow. Things are ramping up so quickly, so very quickly. But I'll have to say this. We expected this to happen. If you're a person that has followed our channel, we were telling you play by play as things were unfolding. Right toward the end of the year, we were telling you, this is it. This is the big one. This is where we're going into some big time stuff. It's probably going to be the 1st or the 2nd of January. That's what I told everybody. Before it even hit, I was like 1st or 2nd of January. Trump's head's exploding right now. He has to do something quickly. The Epstein files are too much of a distraction. There's too many things happening with the Epstein files. Our economy is imploding. He's trying to make it seem like everything's fine when it's not. And it's now the cracks are opening up. Everything's beginning to be visible. All the numbers are being hid. The inflation numbers, the economy numbers. They're not letting anybody see what was happening in October, November. So why are they doing that? Well, there's a reason, because everything is falling apart, if you haven't realized that yet. The reason why silver shooting through the roof in the last month, why is it going parabolic? Why is gold going up? Because our economy is failing. The reason we're taking over the Venezuelan territories, as well as potentially going into Greenland, Trump said this today, we're going in to take Greenland. We're going to go into there and do some damage and break some things in Colombia, and also in Cuba. Cuba's going down. Cuba. Do you think that Russia and China are going to just stand by and watch us do this? I'm telling you, they're going to do something. They already are causing, I believe, unrest within our country right now. There's a lot of protesting, but I expect there to be huge protests taking place in the United States. What we're seeing right now is just the beginning. Protests happening all around the world right now. They are protesting everywhere. Iran is ready to fall. Now, what's going to happen there is going to be huge as well. Israel is taking a complete advantage of all this chaos that America is now immersed in. And they're just... This is exactly what we expected to happen. I'm telling you, this is Iran is going to be attacked here any day. Okay, they are this close to attacking Iran. Iran is going to do something huge. I don't know what's going to happen. If it's going to be Iran launching a bunch of hypersonics, how Israel's going to fare. Is there going to be some kind of an invasion? Is there something else in the works that we don't know about? I mean, with other countries, we're talking about Turkey. We're talking about Syria. Is something going to happen with Syria? Because I don't think Syria is a friend of Israel right now. You know, with the new leader, I think that this whole thing with Trump was a play, a little bit of leverage, because these are ISIS, former Al-Qaeda ISIS leaders that are now controlling Syria. And you know what the ISIS leaders were doing? They were cutting people's heads off. You know, making cinematic productions of showing the actual details of people getting their head cut off, and then parading it all over the whole of social media so we can watch people get their heads cut off. You know, and this is the guy that was one of the leaders, and he's in Syria as the president, and Trump is his buddy. Trump says he's a tough guy, but, you know, he's doing a good thing now. He's trying to do something very hard, very difficult, but I'm right behind him. Do you think that Israel's really good with that? I mean, is that better than Assad? Or did they jump out of the pan and into the fire? And is Syria now threatening Israel as well? And then I'm sure Egypt is right there behind them, because I don't think Egypt likes what's going on either. So you've got this whole thing in the Middle East with Hezbollah. They're rearming. They're getting ready to use their arms. They've been putting out videos in the last 24 hours, Hezbollah, and they're showing how they're getting locked and loaded with all their missiles getting ready to go off on Israel. So you've got Hezbollah, you've got Iran, you've got groups inside of Iraq that are going to go after Israel. Israel's on the brink of going to war. Are we going to be in there too? I guess we are, because it looks like America's going to be all spread out all over the globe. So Trump's threatening to take over Greenland today. I mean, I'm going to go through all of his statements so that you can see it with your own eyes. Trump is a man of war, and we've told everybody he's a god. He's worshiping the God of forces, just like the Bible said. He speaks peace, but in his heart is a drawn sword. There is no doubt about it. I already saw his personality from 2020 very clearly. I know exactly who he is, and I know exactly what he was going to do, and I knew exactly that this would be the scenario that would unfold, and I've chronicled it as it has been unfolding over the last 5 years now, since 2020. And for anybody that's been paying attention, you know that we've been calling it. We called it when he was going to betray MAGA. I told you guys ahead of time he would betray MAGA before it happened. I told you he was going to betray Israel, and it happened. Remember? Headlines were betrayed Israel. Trump betrays Israel. I told everybody before that happened. I told everybody it was coming within a week or two of it happening. How in the world did we know this? How in the world did we have this heads up? Did you see what happened yesterday? I was sitting there talking about Elon Musk and singularity. If you go back to the video from yesterday, and what happens? This morning, Elon posts that we're now in singularity. Why would he post that? Is he like using AI to find out who's talking about him, and he finds my video and says, oh, that's a good thing to post? Yeah, I had posted about AI a while back. I think I'll post that again. He says in his post on Twitter this morning that we have now reached singularity. He makes a post, 1 million views. And I was talking about that last night. It's just so many weird things. Anyways, we just want to make sure you understand that we are seeing this in real time unfold right before our eyes. And I just want to make sure you see it too, because I'm seeing it very clear. All right, so let's go from the beginning of the day. Let's just go back. There's so much going on here. Let's just go all the way from the beginning, because there's a lot happening here. Let's just start. Let's see where we started off the day. Okay, this is July 4th. Starting today, Venezuela may not be the last country. This is early morning. We're going to start from the early morning. We're going to work our way back to right now. Venezuela may not be the last country facing U.S. intervention, adding, this is Trump saying this, we do need Greenland, absolutely. Claiming the island is surrounded by Russian and Chinese ships. He's talking about Greenland. Rubio says that elections in Venezuela are premature. He's basically saying, nope, they're already saying this. Trump is saying we are in control. They asked him if the vice president if they're going to do elections and what's going to happen. Are you working with the vice president who has now been sworn in? And Trump's like, nope, she better watch her butt, because we're going to go do something worse to her than we did to Maduro if she doesn't keep it straight. He literally threatened her with something much worse than what's happening to Maduro. Some thought that maybe she sold Maduro out and that she was going to work with the U.S. because Trump was praising her earlier and now he's threatening her. But this could all be theater. You know, this could all be theater, because she needs to make sure that her people are behind her and that she's going to show some kind of resistance. But maybe this is a ploy by Trump, and he's playing her to make her think that this is theater, but really he's using it to go in there to take her out too. I don't know. I mean, this is so bizarre. We've got all of our military is just still poised there, and I'm sure there's boots on the ground. I'm sure there's operations happening with our own military now inside of Venezuela that we probably don't know about. And I'm sure that there's going to be more operations here within the next few days or weeks. And I've been looking at a lot of stuff that connects to the economy on how this is all connected to our push to go in there and the reason why we're in there. You know, Trump said it's not about drugs. He already said this about a week ago. Remember, everybody was talking about this, like, well, why are we there? Is this about drugs? Is this about drug boats? This is about you know, criminals coming in. This is about Venezuela sending their you know, all of their prisoners and their mentally ill people to our country. Is this what it's all about? No, Trump says, well, there's something more that is really going on there. We haven't really told the American people yet. Well, duh. And it is about the oil, and it is about the silver mines. It is about their critical minerals that they have there that we want. And it is about getting our power contained in there within the structure of the rebuild and tapping all those oil wells. And it's about controlling the global economy. We have to keep that spigot running with American dollars not being de-dollarized, right? We need China to keep buying stuff with dollars because we're writing a lot of checks. You know, we've got lots of credit out there that we've just created out of thin air. And if they start de-dollarizing all around the world, which is what they're doing, and we're basically holding them to, you know, at gunpoint saying, you're going to use our dollar or else we're going to do this to you. We're going to do this to you. So, you know, you saw Maduro trying to tell Trump, oh, you know, we'll do deals with you. We'll sell you oil, U.S. Don't worry, we're gonna work some deals with you. But no, Maduro was talking about using the basket of BRICS currencies, right? The currencies of BRICS, the basket of currencies that they have in the BRICS. And if you don't know what the BRICS are, they are the economic block of nations that comprises the main hub is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And there's a lot of other countries that are coming on board, including Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And they're trading oil not in US dollars anymore, but in other currencies, gold, you know, other currencies, rubies. This is also India. You know, India's a part of this, and they've been a part of it for a long time. You know, Trump's like all upset. Oh, like India, Modi's not my friend anymore. What's the matter with India? We're not working with them, and they're charging all kinds of tariffs, and we really don't, you know, sell them anything, but they obviously sell us all kinds of stuff. So he's mad at India, you know, and UAE and Saudi Arabia is now trading outside of our dollar, because that's really what made America powerful, was the petrodollar, right? There was a law, you could say, was written into the global economy that anyone that bought oil from the Middle East had to buy it in U.S. dollars. They had to trade it in U.S. dollars. That's why everybody had U.S. dollars. Well, because of the de-dollarization now, countries are dumping. And Venezuela recently stated that they were going to start using the BRICS, and they were going to start selling their oil outside of the U.S. dollar's control. And that's a no-no, because that's exactly what Gaddafi was doing when he had his unfortunate accident. And that's exactly what Saddam Hussein was planning to do when he had his unfortunate accident. And now we got Maduro. So is the world going to continue to put up with what we're doing here? This is what we have to look at. Are we going to continue to exert our will by force over all the nations of the world that are not playing our game? Are we going to just, by the force of the military, move in and just take over? Is that what we're going to do? This is a really important video to watch right here. If you haven't seen this video, this will explain it to you right here. You can go on my YouTube channel and take a look at this screen and this video right here and go watch it. It's about 12 minutes long. It'll explain to you in detail if you're not really figuring out what's happening. That this will give you the big macro version okay, of the reasons for why all this is going down. So Trump threatens Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez. That's her right there. Isn't she a sweet-looking lady? Trump's threatening something worse to her than what's happening to Maduro right now. Trump says, you're going to pay a bigger price than Maduro if you don't do what's right. That sounds kind of like a mafia threat to me. We can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. We're here to protect you. If you don't want our protection, well, something terrible could happen. We're just here to kind of watch over your oil fields for you. Make sure you're pumping them correctly. Trump says if Delcy Rodriguez refuses to do the right thing, the consequences she faces could be even more severe than those awaiting Maduro. And what kind of consequences would that be? Are they going to put him to death? Did you see what they did to Saddam Hussein? When they got Saddam? That was sad. I mean, I'm sure he was a dictator and everything, but, who really isn't a dictator in the big scheme of things if you really look at the way things work, with, politics and kings and kingdoms. In some way, there's always that exerting of control and having to keep order. But obviously, they do things more shady in different countries than maybe we would say we do. But who knows? We're doing shady things too, right? Aren't we? But anyways, did you see what they did to poor Saddam? I mean, they did that so the whole world could see it. And it's just crazy stuff. I wonder if they're going to do something like that to Maduro. Reports suggest that new Venezuelan interim president, I'm sure they're going to do what they did with, now that he's in U.S. custody, I don't think that will happen, but they did to Saddam, they did that in Iraq, right? I'm sure that all of our assets were there when it was happening, but the things that happened to Panamanian leader, remember when we took him? I think it was, who was that? He became a Christian too, by the way, when he was in jail. He was in prison in a U.S. prison. I forgot that guy's name. I think he was a Panamanian leader. Does anybody remember that guy's name? They did that to him too. But he became a Christian, and he had a great testimony, by the way. Yeah, Timothy is right. Hit the like button and please share and subscribe. Hit the like button. That also helps promote the video that we're doing right now in the algorithms. You want this to get out there as far and wide as you can. Please hit that thumbs up and share it. And make sure you comment if you're watching this in the archives. Comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. All right, Elon Musk, I posted this because Elon, I don't know if he's watching the videos or if he's looking at AI and he saw something, because AI now, he could search his name on social media and it'll tell him everything everybody's saying. Like if somebody mentioned his name, like I'm talking about him now, he could type it in a search and he could just go through a brief synopsis. The AI will tell him everything that was being said, and he can zoom in on one particular topic. And yeah, we were talking about transhumanism and singularity and what that means according to Elon, and what that means biblically, how he's connected potentially to the image of the beast, and how that begins to become sentient and speaks, and it begins to control the whole global economy. And is Elon fitting into that prophecy? It does kind of look like it, and we talked all about it. And then he happened to tweet about it, about singularity. I thought that was kind of weird. Somebody said in the comments, synchronicity. It's synchronicity. It just so happens that someone's thinking about you and you're also thinking about them. Remember how that works? If you missed our scripture reading and our devotional this morning, you definitely want to go check that out. God always meets us when we get together on our BP Ministries channel, so go subscribe there if you're a believer. Here we go. Iran unrest goes nationwide. Protests spread to hundreds of cities. According to Fatuk's network that's inside of Iran, protests have been confirmed in 108 towns and cities across Iran. And the reason is they're being choked out. Their economy is falling apart. They have no electricity on and off. Food is skyrocketed. Inflation, gas, they're having hard times getting gas. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to rise up. Same thing would happen here in America if that were to go down. If there was all kinds of, inflation, you might see protests coming. I have a feeling America is going to be going into protest pretty soon, too. I have a feeling. And that would fit in with Dmitry Duduman's prophecies. If this is where we're at, we could be seeing the fulfillment of those prophecies. Those are modern day prophecies. So if anybody follows my channel, I talk about him. A rapidly expanding wave of anti-regime protest is sweeping Iran, with demonstrations now documented in 108 towns and cities nationwide. And here we go. Iran protests from December to January. And this shows kind of a map of the destabilization that Israel needs now inside of Iran so that it can now go in and ramp up their war effort to topple and to overthrow Iran. I think Iran's going to have, this could be the biblical bow of Elam. If you look at the bow of Elam prophecy in the Bible, it talks about it being broken, and that is the region of Iran. And it does talk about, if you look at the book of Daniel, the prophecy that Daniel was given about the latter days, which would be potentially right now, the angel gave him the prophecy from God about the prince of Persia and how the prophecy was delivered, and the prince of Persia withstood the angel when he was delivering the prophecy to Daniel. Remember, he was fasting and praying, and from the very day he began his fast and prayer, the angel was in a battle over Persia. Well, this is Iran, okay? This is the principality that oversees the region of Iran. And so Michael and the prince of Persia were in a battle in order for this prophecy to be delivered. It finally broke through, but it was in regards to the latter days. So Iran is going to play a pivotal part in last days prophecy. And here we go. This is what's happening. So you've got the bow of Elam, or Elam, being broken. And that has something to do with its military power, its military might. In the latter days, there could very well be some kind of major, war that breaks out that destroys Iran's power and influence. Could this be the moment? Well, they are on the brink of going to war with Iran right now. And I'm telling you, it is so close. I wouldn't doubt if we don't see something happening in the next few days. There's also reports I was getting of, let's just look. I wanted to see this other report here. This was kind of a report I just saw right before I went on. Let me just get it up here really quick. Military movement across the Atlantic. Israel war cabinet is meeting on Iran. And so this is happening right now. The Israeli cabinet is having a meeting. This is not it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Silver is definitely going back up again, by the way. If you don't know anything about what's happening with silver, silver prices are spiking. It's over $75 an ounce right now in the futures. I think, have they actually opened yet? I think they did open. It's at $75 an ounce. Going back up, I think, over 80, I bet. It says more than 12 U.S. Air Force C-17s have arrived in the UK within 24 hours. Is this an Iran buildup? Are we in preparations for attacks on Iran? I think so. This could very well be what we're seeing here. I'll show you that here in just a second here. This is according to Hal Turner. And there's accurate information. It says around a dozen Air Force C-17A Globemasters 3s arrived last night at the RAF which is Royal Air Force in the United Kingdom, based upon which military units are involved, the cargo being carried. It seems Iran is in for trouble again. Most of these C-17 planes came from Hunter Army Airfield in Georgia or Campbell Army Airfield in Kentucky, reportedly carrying helicopters and other equipment for U.S. Army's 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, or SOAR. Most of the C-17s, it says, have since continued to the Ramstein Air Base in Germany, though it's not known if they were unloaded or loaded anything while on the ground at the RAF Fairford. Two separate sources, whom I trust, he said, and who have provided valid inside information to me in the past, say these planes are carrying helicopters and equipment for the U.S. Army's 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. He kind of said that twice, but it says the surge mirrors a similar C-17 movement 6 months prior to the U.S. strike on Iranian nuclear facilities in June of 2025, suggesting potential pre-positioning for special operations amid escalating European and Middle East tensions, though no official purpose has been disclosed. So you got that happening there. And then what else do we got here? Reports indicate that the Iranian regime has ordered local security forces to use live ammunition against the protesters in multiple cities across the country. Multiple casualties have been reported. Just days ago, President Trump warned Iran about taking such action. He did say that there's to be no deaths to the protesters inside of Iran. Obviously, that's encouraging unrest and destabilization, because this is what's happening right now inside of Iran. These are Iranian protesters in the Nazi Abad inside of Tehran, demanding the fall of the Islamic Republic. And then we have Israeli small cabinet agrees to a new military operation called Operation Iron Strike. Small cabinet discussed the most suitable day and time for the attack. The target and details of the operation have not been disclosed. Obviously, they're making this public to keep the tensions and anticipation inside of Iran and around the world at a heightened state, when it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But it's probably not imminent, but it probably is going to be happening at a certain point. You know, it could be days, it could be weeks. I mean, it could be a month. You know, if you got your enemy on edge for a whole month, you know, and you don't have you're not really actually ready to completely go in, or maybe they're setting things up, you know, it's always psychologically, it's more destabilizing and unnerving, especially if everything's falling apart anyway, socially and economically. You can just sit back and wait till it gets really bad and then go in. But Iranian forces are on high alert following military council meeting. A large number of U.S. military assets have arrived in Europe and are headed toward Israel. Exact movements were seen right before the 12-day war on Iran. Iran has just begun missile and air defense exercises. Israeli Defense Minister Katz and Chief Staff Zamir are conducting a military exercise simulating the outbreak of a war with Iran. Here's another interesting thing that happened today. Greece. Look at Greece. All of the airplanes are gone outside of Greece. Why is that? Because something happened. Some technical failure closed Greek airspace, with all flights to and from Greece canceled after key air traffic radio frequencies are knocked out by some form of technical failure. Was it some kind of attack by, like an EMP type or an electronic technological weapon that they have now. They probably have all kinds of weapons that can do this type of thing now. But they effectively shut down this whole area. Look at that. It's just, there's nobody there. Not a plane in the sky. Isn't that crazy? That happened today. Russia is preparing a large-scale attack on Ukraine tonight. And they've already been bombarding Ukraine with huge amounts of probably Oreshnik weapons that are potentially nuclear, but they carry probably large conventional ordnance on these warheads. But they come down so fast. These are hypersonics. They come down in they release multiple warheads at once, and they come down so fast. I don't know if you've seen the video on some of those attacks, but the Iranians have their hypersonic missile too. I don't know if you saw when they were attacking Israel how those missiles got through their Israeli defenses. But the thing with the Oreshnik from Russia is that it has multiple warheads that ultimately come down at the same time. It's just like it blankets one huge area with hypersonic warheads. And they could potentially be nuclear if they really wanted to arm them with tactical type nukes or just one large warhead, We're living in a crazy world, guys. It's getting very crazy. North Korea now says that it has tested its hypersonic missile with leader Kim Jong-un attending on Sunday. We're going to see North Korea get into the mix. Dmitry Medvedev. It's a medbed. How many of you guys believe in medbeds? That's kind of crazy out there. I don't know. I don't think they have that kind of stuff. But anyway, his name is Medvedev. Medvedev. I know I'm probably saying it wrong. So Dmitry Medvedev says that, and he's like kind of the spokesperson. He's kind of like the bad cop. He's kind of like the one that gives all the bad news and tells you what Putin is really thinking. Okay, he used to be president of Russia at one point, but he still is very high level, cabinet type person or member of the government. But he always is the one that says the things that Putin doesn't want to say. Unlike Trump just says everything that's on his mind. This is kind of the bad cop for Russia here. He says that the only reliable guarantee of a country's security is its nuclear arsenal. I wonder if he's referring to this guy here, North Korea. What do you think? Or is he referring to Brazil? I mean, not Brazil, but Venezuela or Cuba? Because, Cuba is an ally of Russia. And remember, the Bay of Pigs, right? Are there, Russian missiles there yet? Have they put Russian missiles on the island? I've heard stories that there might be. Recently, in the last, 5 or 6 months, there was talk about this, that Russia was arming Cuba. Colombian president labeled Trump a member of the pedophile clan. This is what he said. Listen to what the president of Colombia said. He said, the pedophile clan wants to destroy our democracy. To prevent Epstein lists from being made public, they are sending military ships to kill fishermen and threatening our neighbor, Venezuela, with invasion for its oil. Previously, Trump urged the Colombian president to watch his back. He didn't actually say back. I think he said something more in relation to, his behind. I think that's the way he said it. Didn't Trump say it like that? He's Trump usually uses very graphic language. He'll use the F word, F bombs. He'll say really, vile kind of language to get his point across. He wants to make sure that he's gonna do something bad to you. You know, when you cuss at somebody, it's kind of like a curse. This is an interesting clip here. Fox News General Gene Keane said, as he was being interviewed on Fox, he said the implications here, he's talking about Venezuela. He said the implications here are really great for Israel. Oh, I mean Venezuela people. So he had a little Freudian slip there. I'm sure he did really mean the Israeli agenda, the Israeli, policy, because what's really going on behind the scenes has a lot to do with what's happening right there in Israel. Everything is kind of centered around, as the Bible said it would be ultimately going back and connected to what's happening right there in Israel. And if you really look at the big picture, you'll see how it all really is connected to Israel. It says in the Bible that Israel would become a burdensome stone for the nations, and that everything would center at a certain point in the Middle East around the little country Israel. And there's a reason for that. But I won't go into all the details eschatologically of why, because that's a long, drawn-out conversation we can have on another day. Let's see what else we got here. This is red, white, and blue land. We're going to call Greenland red, white, and blue land. Remember, Trump had made that statement a while back, and the Congress was actually putting that forward to, take over Greenland, and it's one of our countries now. It's one of our pieces of property. It's a new state. I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to call it a new state, a territory? What are they going to do? Katie Miller, the wife of U.S. President's Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller, posted a photo. What's going on here? Posted a photo. Oh, what's going on here? Let me see if we're missing something here. Okay. She posted a photo of Greenland painted in the colors of the American flag with the caption "soon." Where does it say soon? I don't see the word soon there. Oh, at the top. Yeah, at the top. Okay. So it's at the top there. Soon. We're going to take over Greenland. How about Canada? Should we go in and invade Canada? Oh, Canada. They call Canada Chyanada. Why not? Right? It's a hardcore socialist country. Let's just go in there and take over Canada. Make it our 51st state. What do you think, Canadians? Will that be good? You be happy with that? What do you think, Canada? While we're up there in Greenland, we might as well just take over Canada as well. Hoser, you don't mind us going in there, do you, Hoser? In the Great White North? You don't mind us coming in there and we'll give you back your guns? Maybe. Probably not. But anyways, many do not rule out that Trump, following the example of Venezuela, might attempt to take control of Greenland as well. Oh my gosh, this is actually crazy. Wow. Is this crazy or what? Trump is flossing the nations. He's flossing the nations. I got to get rid of that one. Sorry. That was just a joke. Let's see what else we got here. So Britain unveils Atlantic Bastion AI drone wall to counter Russian under the sea. So this is prepping for what they see as a war with Russia on the European continent, and in particular the UK, because they've been threatened by Russia directly with nuclear annihilation, if you haven't been listening. The UK launches underwater AI defense system. So it's an underwater drone type defense system to protect its waters from potential submarine threats and to counter Russian under the sea. The technology includes AI embedded sensors. They're probably saying this out publicly because they want the Russians to be scared. They don't want them in any way coming up on their shores. And, you know, that little bit of threat that there's a potential that they could be sunk might deter them from getting too close. Who knows? But, you know, Russians are probably right there doing this, and they probably have technology to detect the sensors. You know, technology is increasing so quickly, and AI knows all about everything anyway, so it could probably write new codes and develop new weapons all by itself to counter what it already knows is out there. And ultimately, it's the AI's war anyway, right? When it really comes down to it, it's just the AI warring against really its own agenda. It's like if you got AI China and you got AI US and you got Stargate and you got Russia, they probably got their AI too, but it's probably more in sync with their allies. And I'm sure that it's China's influence that's really a part of what's keeping Russia afloat. I mean, you know, China's interest is to build a block of nations that it can be allied with to combat U.S. what they say is U.S. aggression or imperialism, and what we're trying to do technologically. But the wild card really is Israel. You know, Israel recently reached out and had Elon Musk over. I think this was probably 3 or 4 days ago. And they said that they wanted Elon to help them to become the center of all AI technologies. They already are using. They were the first country to use AI warfare. To use AI in warfare, they were the first country, and I'm sure that. Well, you know what? I take that back. Ukraine may have been the first country, but I think it was Israel because they were using AI to you know, gain the targets, and you know, it was pretty much automated. They said that they had to every kill had to be written off and by a human, but really the AI picked the targets, and they can put it on autopilot, and they can let the AI just pick the target and send the missile or the drone or whatever and destroy whoever's in the way of what the AI agenda really is. Really, it's probably the pre-programmed agenda of the Israelis and what they expect, right? Well, they're going to be the center of all this technology. Isn't that great? They're wanting to be the hub, just like they are of all cybersecurity. They are wanting to ultimately be the brains of the whole world. Really, that's what the Bible says would happen, right? I mean, if you got AI technology and they're in control of what they, and I'll read you what it said, because I think we had posted this. Let me just see if I can find it here. Musk. Let's just see if we can find that here. This was Monday. Last night, this was Netanyahu. And this was posted December 29th. So that was, about a week ago? Not even a week ago? Last night, I held a joint conference call from Florida with entrepreneur Elon Musk, Minister of Transportation, Rigel, and the head of the National AI headquarters, Askel. So Netanyahu had a conference call with all these guys, and in the framework of the conversation, Musk responded to my invitation and Minister Regev's invitation to participate in the Smart Transportation Conference that will be held in March. Additionally, we discussed the continuation of collaboration with Tesla and the promotion of the law pertaining to automobile or autonomous vehicles. I spoke at length with Musk about promoting and developing artificial intelligence technologies in Israel, and I said in our conversation that we intend to catapult Israel and turn it into a global leader in the field, just as we did in cyber and other technologies, talking about cyber security, right? Because they are the hub of cybersecurity. And other technologies would be mRNA. If you didn't know that, Israel is the center of all that as well. Yeah. They are. And yeah, that's why they were the first country to be fully vaccinated. If you didn't know that, they were the first country during COVID. But it's okay. I I cannot brain today because I got the dumbs. I always like this is like one of my favorite memes. Cannot brain today. I has the dumbs. I have the dumbs. I don't know why. Anyways, let's see what else. All right, so we've got what's next. This is an audio of gaggle with President Trump today when asked if he spoke with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy. Trump said that it's actually America who is in charge of Venezuela. When asked if he spoke with Rodriguez, the United States president, Trump says that it's actually America whom is in charge of Venezuela. Okay, so the reporter says, who's in charge of Venezuela right now? Have you spoken to the newly sworn in president? Trump says, we're dealing with the people who just got sworn in. Don't ask me who is in charge because I'll give you an answer and it will be very controversial. And the reporter says, what does that mean? And Trump says, we're in charge. You can hear it right here. You want to hear it? Let's just listen to it. We might as well listen to it. Let's listen to what he said.
The next question is who's in charge of Venezuela right now? Have you spoken to the newly sworn in president there, Rodriguez? And what are your thoughts on the entire situation when you said the U.S. would run Venezuela?
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
Have you?
We're in charge. Don't worry. We got it all under control. We've got the whole global economy in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole wide world in our hands. And then it goes on to say, well, that's a different one. Trump says that the U.S. needs total access to oil and other things in Venezuela. What other things? Oh, there's silver mines inside of Venezuela. Did you know that? There are silver mines in Venezuela. Now, that's going to be taking a little while to get online once they take over because really, you've got armed, Venezuela is armed and the public is armed, and they're not going to let America just come right in and sit right down and take over. I just don't see that happening. And I think that we're going to have like a little Vietnam on our hands there. But who knows? Maybe Trump's going to use the AI to eliminate all enemies very quickly. Who knows? With the AI, they can do a lot of stuff now. They got drones that can just swarm all the enemies that they know are in the way, just kill them all off really quickly. Here's another part of the audio gaggle. I don't know why they call it a gaggle, but it's probably because you can't really see them and all you hear is gaggle, 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 gaggle. That's what the reporters are doing on the plane. They're just gaggling. So Trump says that before democracy is restored in Venezuela, Venezuela has to reform its economy and revive it, saying that oil companies are ready to re-enter Venezuelan market and rebuild the Venezuelan infrastructure, which is decaying since Chavez seized foreign oil fields. Whose oil fields really were they? I thought they owned them. Did they seize them, or were we just kind of leasing them? I don't think we owned them. I think we were leasing them, weren't we? We didn't own them. But yeah, so from what I understand too, there was also a statement made today that Trump said, we're already in there. We're already in there getting the oil. So we're already on the ground. There's boots on the ground, guys. I'm just telling you right now, we're already in there doing what we're going to do. Daniel chapter 11, verse 24. When the richest provinces feel secure, he will invade them and will achieve what neither his fathers nor his forefathers did. He will distribute plunder, loot, and wealth among his followers. He will distribute plunder, loot, and wealth among his followers, and he will plot the overthrow of fortresses, but only for a time. This is only going to happen for a short period of time. And I think that we're about to see a whole string of operations the U.S. is going to be conducting in many different parts of the world, and it's going to make people's heads spin. You watch. Trump is going to be moving on many countries very quickly, and this is exactly what we expected to happen. So this is not taking us by surprise. Trump says that the U.S. companies are already entering Venezuela and extracting oil from the ground. Just in, Trump says Cuba is ready to fall, and they got all their money from Venezuela. It is going down. Downtown. Yep, it's going down. Look, they're getting ready to press the button. Or we can do chicken dance. The chicken dance. My kids love that movie. So let's see what else. So Cuba is in total dire straits right now. It is so destabilized. And what's going to happen? Is Russia going to come to their aid? What's Russia and China doing right now? You know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. China is going to go take over Taiwan. You watch. Now, I told you guys a while back that I thought maybe there was some kind of deal done with Trump and the Chinese and the Russians recently about parceling out the world right now. And, you know, maybe in just a basic agreement because they know that war is looming. And we don't want to see a nuclear conflict with the superpowers. So they're basically saying, you can have this. Go ahead, Russia, take Ukraine. China, you can have Taiwan. Philippines, maybe Japan. Okay, I don't know about that, but I'm just wondering out loud. And they're saying, okay, you can take whatever you want in your own backyard. Okay, go ahead, take Venezuela, go do what you got to do in Mexico and everywhere else in between. And but is that really what's going on? I don't know. That was kind of my thought a while back, but who knows? All I know is that things are falling apart everywhere. It says they're going to hit very hard. This is what Trump said at another part of the gaggle. He said they're going to get hit very hard. Trump threatens Iran. Graham cheers in excitement. This is Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham loves war. That's all he can think about. He probably dreams about it. Dreams about war happening. He said, you just wait for Cuba. Their days are numbered, he also said. Neocon Lindsey Graham sounded downright giddy, salivating over the next target. Yeah. Can't wait to go in there and start breaking things there, too. Got to go get all our cigars. We need some cigars, some Cuban cigars. Let's go in there and steal their Cuban cigars. This is what I was saying, what China's going to do right here. China, social media hails U.S. Maduro move as a Taiwan template. Oh, look at what Trump just did. That's what we need to do. Thank you, Trump. You have given us the green light. Now let's go in and take all of the chip making, the production of the world. China now has Taiwan because you said this is the way we do things. Look, go ahead. You keep doing what you're doing, and we'll do what we're doing. Right? That's what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Bloomberg News today. On Chinese social media, users believe that China should use Trump's methods toward Taiwan. They're already getting ready to do it. You know, I think Trump is just saying, hey, you know, I know what you're going to do, China. I know how you're staging and getting ready to take over Taiwan. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's done. Let's go ahead and give you a little lesson on dictatorship. You want to see what a dictator looks like? I'll show you what a dictator looks like. I'll show you what an imperialist, expansionist empire looks like. We're going to do it right before your very eyes. We'll do it first, okay? We're going to get the AI first. We're going to implement it in war unlike what you're trying to do. Now, I'm going to just tell you right now, China is far in advanced in many technologies. I can't believe some of the cars that they have, the technology that they're already using in robotics, in the AI's involvement in every aspect of Chinese, society. It so far surpasses everything that we're doing. I mean, and we're not being told. We're not seeing a lot of this. Now, we can see some of it now because of social media. Obviously, they're posting videos and things like this. I don't know if we're being, shadow banned from seeing certain things, but there are things that are getting out there that I was just blown away by. Also, I talked to a guy today that was talking to me about hydrogen cars. Did you know that Russia uses hydrogen engines in all of their trains? And they are using them in cars in many different countries as well. Hydrogen engines, which run on water. Now, hydrogen is kind of volatile, and they say that it's potentially dangerous because it can blow up. I guess where they get the technology for hydrogen bombs, right? But they've got it down where they can use it now, I guess, and make things like trains work on water. I mean, can you imagine that? Using a big tank of water just to be as your fuel? And your car, you can go. Oh, and another thing is, they've got new battery technology coming out, and it's based on silver. How many of you guys heard about this? Silver technology inside of batteries. We're not talking about iron phosphate, lithium. We're talking about something much better than lithium iron phosphate batteries. We're talking about silver batteries, and they probably have lots of silver in them, but these silver batteries can be charged up within minutes as opposed to hours. And you can charge them up very quickly without them exploding. And they hold the charge and they can go a lot farther, a lot longer. So silver, once again, maybe this is what's going down here. The silver is definitely a big deal. Let me look at silver prices and see how much they've gone up here. Last time I looked, okay, well, they went back down, $74.97. It's still $75 an ounce, up $3.96 from opening just a little bit ago. So silver opened at like 71. And now it's at 75, up 5.58%, up 5.58%. All right, all you silver stackers out there that are making all kinds of money, click that donate button and send us a little stack of silver. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want silver, but a donation would help. Definitely would help. Keep us keeping on, and paying our app bill. And everything else that we do online. We got a lot of payments, so we do definitely need your guys' help. I'm not begging, I'm just telling you the need. I already told the Lord, and he knows, so I'm just telling you, just so you know, okay? Let's see what else here. Bloomberg is citing Chinese users. Let's see, he says, since the U.S. doesn't take international law seriously, why should we care? I suggest using the same method to return Taiwan in the future, writes users of Chinese social network Weibo. Other users suggest kidnapping Lai Ching-te, the president of Taiwan, as well. What? Oh my gosh. Bloomberg cites the opinion of analysts who believe that the operation against Venezuela could push China to more decisive actions. Privately, I expect Beijing to emphasize to Washington that it expects to be granted the same privileges in terms of expectations to international law that the U.S. grants itself. Oh, very good. There is one mountain and two tigers, and only one tiger will be on the mountain. China and U.S. are two tigers. Only one will be left. He believes this is what Ryan Haas, a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute and former American diplomat, had said. This guy here is Cuban President Miguel Miguel Diaz-Canel, and he said the darkest object of imperialist desires is Venezuelan oil, Venezuelan lands, and natural resources. And by the way, all the Bolivian countries down there in South America, I think Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, there's a few others in there, and I'm trying to remember which one. Brazil might be one of them. I'm not sure if Brazil is. But they're all uniting against the U.S. So they're all uniting together, and they're coming against America. And I don't know if Cuba is one of them too, but I think Cuba is something else. So he says, no, gentlemen, imperialists. He said, no, gentlemen imperialists, this is not your backyard or a disputed territory. He calls the U.S. gentlemen imperialists. We do not accept or recognize the Monroe Doctrine, nor outdated kings and emperors. And if you don't know what the Monroe Doctrine is, it's just basically, I guess, I don't know if it's World War I or World War II doctrine of the U.S. that says that we basically can control all assets in the Americas if it's in our best interest, and if it's in some way threatening us, that we can go in and just take over. Something like that. But I can read you the actual definition of the Monroe Doctrine right now. It says the Monroe Doctrine, declared by President James Moore, okay, so it was 1823, was a U.S. policy warning European powers to stop colonizing or interfering in the independent nations of the Western Hemisphere, asserting American dominance in the region while pledging U.S. non-interference in European affairs. It became a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy, preventing new European colonies, and later expanded via the Roosevelt corollary to justify U.S. intervention in Latin America. So that originally was initiated in 1823, but obviously Roosevelt amplified that. And it says core principles are separate spheres. The Americas and Europe have distinct political systems and spheres of influence. Non-colonization. The American continents are closed to future European colonization. Non-intervention. Any European attempts to interfere with nations in the Americas would be seen as hostile acts against the U.S. Reciprocal non-interference. The U.S. would not meddle in existing European colonies or internal European affairs, right? So that's the Monroe Doctrine. Roosevelt corollary in 1904, President Theodore Roosevelt expanded the doctrine, allowing the U.S. to act as an international police power in Latin America to prevent European intervention, shifting it from defensive to interventionalist. So the cornerstone policy, it remained a central part of U.S. grand strategy throughout the 20th century, shaping hemispheric relations. That's the Monroe Doctrine, if you didn't know. And let's see what else. Trump accused Colombian president of producing and selling drugs and did not rule out conducting an operation against the country. This is Colombia. At the same time, he said that the Cuban government is close to collapse. So Cuba is also close to collapse, according to Trump. In Cuba itself, a 2-day mourning. Now, this is another interesting thing. A lot of the security forces of the Venezuelan government were Cuban. Did you know that? A lot of Cubans were the security details of the Venezuelan high government. So listen to this. So I guess America killed off a bunch of Cubans that were protecting the president of Venezuela. It says, in Cuba itself, a 2-day mourning has been declared due to the deaths of 32 Cubans who were defending the Venezuelan president. Why the Cubans did this is an open question. How many of you guys had heard that? That a bunch of Cubans got killed there. Trump, on a flight, it was taking questions from reporters on Air Force One. And he said that Trump has put Denmark on notice because Denmark basically owns Greenland. He said that Greenland may become American following the U.S. operation in Venezuela. What? We're going to just plant our flag there and just take it. It's ours now. Greenland is now America. We need Greenland. And we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. So Trump is basically saying once we get done all these different places around the world that we're going to go invade, we're going to get to Greenland. And then after that, we got Canada on our list. Canada is going to become the 51st state. Greenland, probably a territory, right? Because, there's really nothing going on up there either. I mean, Canada could become a territory because there's really not a whole lot of people up in the Great White North, is there? How many people actually live in Canada? Scott, I know you're there, but in the Great White North. I know there's a lot of hosers up there. And all they do is chop wood and drink 2-4s all day long. Okay, so speaking to reporters earlier aboard Air Force One, President Donald Trump called Colombian President Gustavo Petro a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. What? Adding that he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you. Asked what he meant by that and if there could be a potential military operation against Colombia, President Trump said, "It sounds good to me." What? So we're going to go in and invade Colombia too. Woo! This is going to get good. My goodness. What is going on? What is going on? What's going on? I like this one better. This reminds me of Larry King. Larry King Live. Anywho's, okay, so there's your daily report. What do you think? Is it going down? What in the world? Oh, yeah. Jeff, are you in the house? I just got that text. Okay. I got you, man. Get her done. Get her done, says Lynn. All right, I'm looking at some of your comments. Let's see if I can respond to some of your comments down here. You're in central Alberta. I'm just messing with the Canadians. I love all you Canadians up there, even though you do live in the Great White North. Silver has moved up to 75.31. Wow, that's a lot. Let's see. Let's see. Be the Arrow 675 says we got about 15 million well-armed hunters up here too. Just so you know, that's good. What do you guys got? BB guns? I forgot BB guns are outlawed too. I'm just joking. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are hiding your. You had one of those unfortunate boating accidents, and they're stashed somewhere in a place where you can access them very quickly. But it's good. I hope you guys all have your guns. Everybody needs a hunting gun, a hunting rifle. How are you going to eat? You gotta have some means of gaining some kind of game if you unless you're good at trapping or using your bow and arrows are good. I mean, if you know how to use I think the crossbows are better. I like those really nice crossbows. I'd like to get one of those one day. Very quiet, but they definitely are good for hunting. All your guns were lost in a tornado. It just blew away. I don't know what happened. We had a tornado here recently. We had a pretty big wind event here where a bunch of trees got blown down. It looked like at least 100-mile-an-hour winds come flying through here. How many of you guys had a bunch of wind recently? I have to wonder what that was because it went all the way across the country. We saw winds of at least 80 miles an hour. They could have been 100. We had a lot of trees falling over. Everybody having trees falling down. I mean, it was like Wizard of Oz. I literally felt the house shaking. Like I was thinking, is the house about to fly away? What's going on? Scott, did you have wind up there too, Scott? Did you have wind like we did? Or are you talking about the Great White North? You have 5 bows? Yeah. You lost power? Yeah, we lost power too. Well, let's see what else we got. Is there anything else? Let me take a look at some other places here. I know there's a lot more going on here. The Middle East. Something is definitely happening in the Middle East. Some big-time stuff is unfolding there right now. CCP front group organizing destabilizing protests in our country. Pro-Maduro protests. What? What is this? See? Communist uprising. This is exactly what Dmitry Duduman said would happen before America is sneak attacked. This would be setting the stage right here. If you don't know who Dmitry Duduman is, you should check him out. His book. He's passed away, but he definitely had some insights, I think, into what was coming for America's future. And he was talking about this back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I happened to meet him twice on a more intimate setting because we were a small little group, a little small home church, and he came to see us. If anybody knows who he is. But he talked about communist protests rising up within the U.S. This is why I'm expecting, I'm not getting any intel telling me about this, but according to Dmitry Duduman and what he saw, it looks like what's happening right now. So I'm kind of gleaning from his prophecies that we're very close to those moments unfolding and taking place here in America. But this also right here might confirm some of that. Who knows? Let's see. CCP, if you don't know what the CCP is the Communist Chinese Party. And it's a front group that's now organizing pro-Maduro protests within our country. Very destabilizing. And it says, look here, look what we have here. Manuel de los Santos. What is that? Head of the People's Forum, a communist group funded by China's Communist Party, shill Neville Roy Singham on the ground with his director, David Chung, prepping the pro-Maduro protest. Nothing in New York is organic. David Chung appeared in the video below, preparing protest materials in Times Square against the U.S. military capture of President Nicolas Maduro on January 3rd.
All the signs. Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you. Hey, Manolo, how you doing? My name is Nate. Nice to meet you. I'm good. How are you?
Leader of paid protesting in New York City.
Would you mind doing an interview right now? Can I ask why? You're the leader of the People's Forum. You got $20 million from Roy Neville Singham to protest. Can I ask why you don't want to speak with me right now? Do you deny that you got $20 million to protest? You don't deny that? How are you spending that $20 million to protest? I know you're paying David Chung $75K a year. Anyone else on the payroll? Oh, David, what's up, man? I didn't recognize you. Hey, you're back, buddy. How you doing? $20 million to paid protest, won't deny it.
Wow. Did you hear that?
Invasion of Haiti because the U.S. invasion of Panama in 1989. In his press conference detailing the operation, U.S. President Trump claimed that the U.S. will run with Venezuelan government.
This is in New York. This is in the United States. This is in the United States. This right here is in the United States. Wow. What do you think about that? Wow. Just wanted to thank Kim A. G. B. Baths. Thank you for keeping us informed, she said. Thank you very much, Kim. God bless you. Let's see if I can reply to that. Okay, I expired. My time expired on that one. I can't reply. Thank you very much. Now, another thing that was being said was that Trump was what pushed Trump over the edge, supposedly, to go in after Maduro was Maduro's dance. He didn't like Maduro's dance. You know what? I liked Maduro's dance. I thought he did a great dance. And I liked what he had to say, too. He's like, peace, peace. Yes, peace. No crazy war. No crazy war. Peace together. Peace together. Did you see when he was dancing? Let's see if I can find it. The Maduro dance. He did a couple different dances. I thought they were really good, though. And I guess that pushed Trump over the edge. Trump didn't like that. Trump did not like the dance. Let's see if we can get a couple of dances in here.
No queremos una guerra en el Caribe ni en Sudamérica. No. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés? Please, please, please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Do have absolute certainty that just as I swore before the body of our commander Hugo Chavez, before saying farewell to him, absolute loyalty at the cost of my own life and peace of mind. I swear to you absolute loyalty, even beyond the time in which we are able to live this beautiful and heroic history. Be sure that I will never fail you. Never, never, never.
Jamás, nunca, jamás.
Okay. Well, he said he wouldn't fail. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if there's another one. How about this one?
Don't worry, be happy. La 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 la. Don't worry, be happy. La 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 la. Just peace, not war.
Just peace, not war. What in the world? I didn't see that one. This was the one. Okay, so team felt mocked by Maduro's dancing and decided to act. This was 2 hours ago. Trump team felt mocked by Maduro's dancing and decided to act. This was according to New York Times reports.
No crazy girl. El pueblo lo sabe. El pueblo de Nicolás Maduro. Please, please, please. Just peace. Just peace. Peace for the best. Venezuela tiene un gallo y ese gallo es Nicolás. Mi gallo a toda prueba.
That's what they do, though. They just like to dance, man. That's just the way. That's the culture, man. They like to dance.
Crazy girl.
No. Anyways. No crazy war. Yes, peace. Peace together. See, I can speak Spanish and I can also speak Chinese. The Chinese say, no war. We just take over very quiet. You keep doing your thing in their backyard and we will take care of Taiwan. Stay there. It's okay. Everything will be all right. We love you. We love you long time. No worries. Be happy. Oh, man. The poor man is not dancing now. No, he's not. I wonder if they're going to, like, do him in. I wonder if they're going to, like, do you think they're going to execute him or what? Do you think Trump's going to execute him? Would he do something like that to show the whole world, I'm the most powerful man in the world. I'm just going to execute him. It was a peace dance. That was what it was, a peace dance. It wasn't a war dance. It was a peace dance. He probably thought everybody would want to have peace after he did that. No more peace now. Only war. Something wrong. We too low. Bing bang ow. You know, I was the first one to post that video on YouTube. It got like over 1 million views. When the plane crashed and they were listening. The plane crashed. It was from China or something. I can't remember where it was from, or Korea. And somebody calls into the news station, Channel 2. I think it's in the Bay Area, and they said that they were with the what is that agency that oversees the planes? I forget what they call it. The UTBSB or something like that. Anyways, supposedly it was a young intern, is what they said. Anyway, he calls into the news station and he says that the four pilots that were on the plane, and he gave them the names. The UTBSB or something like that. And he says the names of the pilots are Wee Tu Lo, Ho Li Fook, what was the other one? Bing Bang Ow. And what was the other name? It was another one. And then so the lady, she's on the news. She's literally live on the news and she's reading these names live on the air. Did you guys ever see that? And I had posted that video. I was the first one to post it on YouTube, and then it went viral, and then everybody took it. You know, once you put a viral video on there, everybody does it. You know, like they're like, oh, that's my video. I'm going to post that. Let's see if I can find that. And then she comes back on like an hour or two later, and she apologizes. I'm sorry. We too low. Here it is. Let's see. This is the report. It's probably copyrighted. How much you want to bet it's copyrighted? This was 12 years ago. We've been doing YouTube for a long time. We've been loving YouTube for a long time. This was in San Francisco. Channel 2.
Coroner is still trying to determine the...
Okay. Excuse me. So listen to this. This is so funny.
cause of death and whether she was already dead when the truck hit her. We have new information now also on the plane crash. KTVU has just learned the names of the 4 pilots who were on board the flight. They are Captain...
I still think this is so funny. Look at this. This lady, Captain... Captain Something Wong. Other crew member, we too low. Now, I know this is not something to laugh at because people actually did lose their lives, but still, how could somebody have done this? Literally.
Something Wong, We Too Low, Ho Lee Fook, and Bang Ding Ao. The NTSB.
I still think this is so funny. How in the world could that have happened? Did nobody read? They said the kid was fired. Oh, man. We just need to laugh here. Okay, so let's see if they got the apology here. Did they put the apology
on Saturday?
Okay, so let's see if the apology ever came. Oh man, that's hilarious. Let's see if she ever apologized. There's one where she apologizes.
It was a mistake, a prank on an American TV station that has angered South Koreans.
We have new information.
Yeah, it was a South Korean flight. Yeah, South Korea was very upset about it because somebody made fun. Yeah, people died. I think people died on that plane, didn't they? Didn't people die?
The apology from the TV station, Asiana is suing KTVU for, in its words, damaging the company's image. This is a mistake, says consultant Mike Weisbart.
UTSB, I think they call it UTSB. But anyways, you got to find something to laugh about in such troubling, depressing times. Holy cow. Holy cow. That's a good one. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That's so funny. You never heard that, Crazy Ape? Yeah, that was back 12 years ago. We've been doing YouTube since 2008. Pretty much the OGs. They said, you're one of the OGs of YouTube. We actually had a viral video on the very eve of the election of Obama that went viral. And that was back, it was easy to kind of go viral back then because there wasn't as many people doing it. And we posted a video that was kind of, political, but it did go viral. And when I say viral, it was picked up by mainstream and it went, a lot of people watched it. Millions of people watched it. But that was all the way back in 2008, And we were even doing live streaming back in 2010 and 2011. That was way before live streaming became, nobody was doing podcasting or live streams back then. We were doing that back in 2011. You found us during Oroville? Yeah, that was probably, Oroville was probably like 2016. Yeah, Oroville took place around 2016, I think. It's been 12 years, yeah. Things have flown by. Time has flown. Time flies. Yeah, I thought he was trying to bond with Trump too when he was doing that dance. I thought it was a gesture of, of trying to, but who knows? I know that Maduro did not want Americans to, in any way, be a part of what was happening there, and he was trying to push out America's influence. And I think Trump needs to and I've stated this a while back, that Trump needs to show the world how he can do what he's going to be effective in using America's military as a strongman. He's going to demonstrate his strongman leadership, as opposed to what people saw him as in the first term, his first presidency, his first term. And that was all part of the plan, though. See, he was to look like a buffoon. He was to look like a weak president. He was to look that way and be opposed by all sides. And then he was supposed to come back from the political dead and become the strong man from the ashes of the phoenix rising up out of the ashes to basically become a global dominant power. We said that from way back. We said that way before anybody ever expected him to ever come back. In fact, he was written out of the script, even trying to run for president back, going back into the recent election. Nobody even thought he was going to make it. And I don't know why they would have put, Kamala Harris to run against him, because that was a stupid thing. But see, that's part of the script too. They said, hey, if a dementia patient can win against Trump, then obviously, Kamala Harris could too, because the powers that be were the ones that were calling the shots, right? And so the powers that be told all these big tech giants, they all had their money on Kamala Harris, right up until the moment where he got nicked in the ear, and then he rose up, fight, and then the whole thing turned around. Because I told everybody, I said, there's going to be some event where Trump is going to rise up at the last minute. I said, and he's going to look very powerful, and he's going to have all kinds of influence, and he's going to gain the attention of the whole world. And then all of his political fortunes will turn on a dime at a certain moment. And I said, even the mainstream is going to come on board. How everybody hated Trump, all mainstream channels hated Trump. Well, they were all going to turn around. I said, if he's the guy that I think he is, this is what's going to happen. And you watch. It'll all turn. Everything, all of his political and his judicial, liabilities are all going to be solved very suddenly, very amazingly, very miraculously. It was going to be like a miracle. I said, it's going to happen. You watch. How many of you guys remember me telling you guys all that from 2020 all the way to the time of the election? I was saying it all consistently. I never deviated from my explanation of what I said would happen. And as it started to unfold, it happened exactly the way I told you. I just want to make sure that people that haven't been around know that we are calling the events before they happen. We are calling these events before they happen. I mean, I just give you an example just recent. Like, tell me that they say that synchronicity or, things just happen in the way that things happen when you're thinking about somebody. But Elon Musk, when did he ever say that we've reached the moment of singularity, except what, 6, 7 months ago, 8 months ago? And I had told you guys that on the broadcast last night. I said, this is what he, and then I explained everything about who he was, according to what I believe is biblical prophecy. And then all of a sudden he tweets the same thing today. What is that? What is that? What are the chances of that happening? Tell me. Did you guys see the video? I posted a video to show you. Did anybody see this? Have you guys seen what I'm talking about right now? I'm looking at the chat right now. Did you see what happened yesterday and how I talked about Elon Musk? And I went into detail about what he was doing and about singularity. And I said the event horizon was crossed. We were now, singularity has taken place in his statements that he made 6 months ago. And I went into a deep dive on that. And then all of a sudden he posts the same exact thing this morning. Today. Yeah. You haven't seen it? All right, well, I'll show you. Just so you know. And what is singularity? We want to go into what is singularity. Why does this mean? Why is this so important? Because singularity is the moment when transhumanism becomes a part of our experience. It becomes more of a reality where robots, AI, machine learning is wedded with human flesh or becomes a part of the brain. Remember, I told you guys yesterday, I went into the deep dive on AI and how it's part of biblical prophecy and how it's going to control outcomes, politically, socially, spiritually of humans, right? I went into all that last night, everything. And I started talking about Elon and how he fulfills what the false prophet would do with all this technology. He was rolling it out. And the main, unveiling of that was when he said, we have come to singularity. We have reached singularity. He said that about 6 months ago. And then lo and behold, he says it again today. Look, I'm going to show you. If you didn't see this, you need to see it. And I'll show you the moment when I talk about it too, as well. So I posted this video this morning because I was like, dang, we gotta see this. Everybody needs to see this. You got to see the connections here. This is the video right here. Or can you see it? Okay, see this video right here? Remember that picture of Elon when he was looking at Trump? Here, I want to show you a close-up of that picture because it's so creepy. He just looks like he's so evil. He's like, yes, master. Are you the key master? Look at this picture, and you tell me if he does not look evil. Look at that picture. He's got the dark MAGA hat on. Dark MAGA is dark MAGA. It's like the black witch. It's like black magic. It's not white hat. It's dark hat. It's like, it's demonic. Yes, master. Anyway, so he's probably gonna watch this too, because I have a feeling he just typed it into the AI about himself. He probably watches stuff that he's talked about, because he wants to see everything, like he uses AI. He's probably a part of the Borg anyway. He's probably got the chip in the brain already anyway. He's probably already a cyborg. And so this is the video. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, here's what I said today. This was posted early this morning. And then I'll take you to the video and I'll show you. All right, guys. So yesterday, last night, I was doing a broadcast and I was talking about Elon Musk. Is Elon Musk watching our videos, or are we just tapped into the collective awareness of what's really happening behind the scenes here? This was dated 16 hours ago, which would have been the 3rd of January, right? 16 hours ago. It is today the 4th of January. All right, well, listen to what I said. Listen to what I said here. Lovable. Somebody that's lovable. But he's going to create the network and the system of worship. And it's technological. It has something to do with singularity. The merging of humans and, technology. All right, so if you didn't see that part, that was at 2 hours and 17 minutes in. I was talking about Elon Musk and his connection to possibly being the false prophet. And look at what Elon posted today. Here we are, Elon Musk posting today. We have entered singularity. January 4th, 2026. Almost 1 million views. So is Elon Musk watching my videos? Or am I tapping in to what is happening spiritually here? Please comment in the comment section below and let me know. Okay, so the video that I was talking about, I linked it here, and let's go ahead and take a listen, okay? Let's listen to a little bit more. It was 2 hours and 17 minutes in. Let's see. Let's just start right about there. So this was last night's broadcast, and we'll give a little more context. Let's just kind of listen in and see what was being said about Elon. The beast was given a mouth to speak arrogant and blasphemous words, and authority to act for 42 months, 3.5 years. And by the way, if you guys remember, the 42 was very significant to us. We had a very, very clear revelation of the number 42 a few years ago, and I shared that with you, with a few of our fellowship that would get together, if you remember. And the beast opened its mouth to speak blasphemies against God, and to slander his name and his tabernacle and those who dwell in heaven. Then the beast was permitted to wage war against the saints and to conquer or overcome them. And it was given authority over every tribe, every people, and tongue, and nation, and all who dwell on the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life, belonging to the Lamb who was slain. How are they going to worship him? Are they going to be singing songs, bowing down? No, they're going to just be in awe of him. They're going to be following everything that he does. They're going to be thinking it's a good thing. They're going to be going along with his rules. They're in no way going to in any way resist or speak out against. They're going to go right along with it. And it's not so much that you have to sit and, thinking about like worshiping in the sense of like being in a cult, but it's going to be like a cult. It's going to be a movement. And it says that he who has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is destined for captivity, into captivity he will go. And if anyone is to die by the sword, well, by the sword he must be killed. Here is a call for the perseverance and faith of the saints. Be prepared in every way. to the very bitter end. If it is bitter, there will be a reward, and God will be with you no matter what happens. Amen. Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. This beast had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. And this beast exercised all the authority of the first beast and caused the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose mortal wound had been healed. Now remember, this person is very lamb-like. He's very much like a person that you would feel beloved, like almost like lovable. Somebody that's lovable. But he's going to create the network and the system of worship. And it's technological. It has something to do with singularity. The merging of humans and, technology. They call singularity. But he comes like a lamb. And the second beast performed great signs. This is what they call the false prophet. He performed great signs, even causing fire to come out of heaven down to earth in the presence of the people. I don't know if you've ever seen these rockets coming down out of space right now. They got them to where they look like a big ball of fire, and it lands right there on a tarmac. There's only one person that can do that. Because of the signs it was given to perform on behalf of the first beast, it received those who dwell on the earth. It deceived those who dwell on the earth because of these signs, right? What kind of signs? Well, they're technological signs. Technological signs. And alien technology, even, if you will. Telling them to make an image to the beast that had been wounded by the sword and yet lived. And this is really, if you go back and really study the wound of the head, the mortal head wound, it could also be a judicial head wound or a legal head wound. Not just a mortal physical head wound. It could have been a mortal legal and judicial head wound. Like Lady Justice with the scales, and she has a sword, right? So it could also be legal. And that's exactly what I think happened. And remember, who got right behind Trump right after Butler and pushed Trump over the top for all of the conservatives? Who was that? Who was it that is credited not just for the miracle of rising from the political dead, because Trump was literally in the political dead zone before that happened, but someone that actually pushed him over the top in the social media, because he needed everything. He needed everything to get that over the top. It wasn't just surviving by a sliver, being taken out. It was much more that was needed. And you needed that social media backing. Okay, so he did this. It says, he deceives all those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image to the beast that had been wounded by the sword and yet had lived. The second beast was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast. What is this image? Well, who's the father of the vaccine? We've talked about how the vaccine could very well be a part of that image or the technology of it. Now that I don't know for sure if that is the legitimate beginning of it or if it's just a testing period in the initial launch of what we know is the technology behind the beast. But I will say this. When Elon Musk made the statements that singularity had been accomplished, right before that, he said, we're on the cusp of the event horizon of singularity. And the event horizon is basically a barrier that theoretically that protects you from going over into a black hole, right? That's what the event horizon is. Singularity, I guess he was likening it unto a black hole because he did say that AI was like a demon and there was no way we could control it. The only way we could control the demon, he said, was to merge with it. Now, he didn't literally say merge with the demon. Later on, he said we had to merge to control AI. He called AI a demon. So by becoming by singularity taking place, we were actually merging human flesh with computer, what they call well, singularity is when we become one, but when the sentient or the self-aware machine begins to replicate and begins to take on its own breath. See, this is what it says. So listen carefully. Because of the signs it was given, the false prophet, to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived those who dwelled on the earth, telling them to take or to make an image to the beast that had been wounded by the sword and yet had lived. The second beast was permitted to give breath to the image of the beast, of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause, there is the control, right? It causes all who refuse to worship it to be killed, right? And it says that they must buy, the only way they're going to be able to exist in society to buy and sell is if they have the mark of this beast, right? And what is the mark? It's somehow connected to this technology that begins to become sentient, right? It begins to speak. At first, it's just an image, but at a certain point, it begins to speak. In verse 15, it says, it was given breath. It's kind of like when God created man. Man was formless and void. Okay, well, that's the deep of the creation, and then he created it. But man was created, and it was without breath, but God breathed into man, and that's the soul. That was what animated human flesh, right? Remember when, I think it was it Ezekiel? God spoke to the prophet Ezekiel and said, can these bones live? And he said, thou knowest, Lord. You know, you're the only one that knows. And he heard a rumbling, and the bones came fitly together, and then the sinews came upon the bones, and then the flesh, and it was a vast army that couldn't be numbered, but it was still without breath. And then he said to blow upon those bones, and it turned into an army that was alive, right? So this is what happens here. He blows upon the breath, comes to the image of the beast, and then it begins to speak. This is the AGI, right? Or the what do they call it where it's super intelligence? There's a level that we're not yet at. It's super intelligence, right? Where the AI becomes so intelligent that it. Okay, so you got the gist of it. There's a lot more we talked about there, but I wanted to show you guys one more thing before we call it a night here. Let's just look and see. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that was 8 months ago. Let's see here. If I can find it here. It was 10 months ago. Okay. Elon Musk says we hit the singularity. Okay, so this was 10 months ago.
Elon sparks debate by saying we're already at the event horizon of the singularity.
See, he said the event horizon, and then he says after this, he said we reached singularity. This was 10 months ago. So this wasn't just something he just said recently. He has said this already once, 10 months ago. And this there's probably a tweet out there. I'd have to go look for the tweet, but he tweeted it out. I remember specifically the tweet where Elon said this, and he might show it here. I don't know. Let's just listen to what he says.
Elon sparks debate by saying we're already at the event horizon of the singularity. Grok seems to have been taught to lie by omission and will tell you how to build a...
All right, so that's his headline there, but I wanted to find the actual quote where he actually shows the screenshot. Maybe does he show a screenshot here? I wanted to see if this is where, because at first he said, we're at the event horizon. And then he says we've actually reached singularity. And that was probably like 10 months, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Because first he said we were at the event horizon of singularity. And then he made an announcement and said we have reached singularity. Now he said it again today. Why did he say it again today? That's what I want to know. Why is he saying it again today? Let's just see if I can find it really quick, because I know he said this months ago. February of 2025, he said, AI singularity looms. I'm sure I'm going to find it here. Hold on. Let me just look at the images really quick. January 4th. Okay, so Polymarket, we have entered singularity. Now, all the quotes from yesterday or today, but you know what I could do is I could just actually just do a Google search, because that tells me right there. I forgot how Google works now. When did Elon Musk first say we have singularity on Twitter? See, it already has it. It already says it. Okay, so look, Elon Musk made various comments regarding AI singularity over the years, but his most direct recent statements claiming that humanity has entered or is on the brink of it on his platform began in early 2025. February, Musk tweeted that humanity was on the event horizon of singularity. In May of 2025, he continued this theme, tweeting, "Singularity already has happened. Just ask the monkeys." He said that. That's right. I remember now. He used the monkeys. That was in May of 2025. And let's just see if we can find that tweet really quick. And see, it's not even chronicled on here. Is that... okay, here we go. Where is it? It should be here. I should be able to find it. And he had a little emoji of monkeys. Isn't that weird how you can't find it? That is crazy. Why can't I find this? Okay. Well, that's the Event Horizon one. Let's see. So he said AIG would be next year, which was May of 24. He said next year would be AGI, which is super intelligence, right? Isn't that super intelligence? And to really understand what is being said here is just absolutely beyond your mind. It's so weird, though, that I can't find this quote because singularity has already happened, because you would think that it would just pop right up. Somebody would have taken a screenshot of it, but it's not even there. Is that absolutely crazy or what? Let me just see where it says this. Okay, here it is. Well, it doesn't actually show his quote. Okay, here it is. All right, so here it is. This is the actual quote where he says it. It's got 48 million views. He said it on May 28th, 2025. And he puts the monkey emojis. And he says, singularity already happened. Just ask the monkeys. And now he's saying it's happened again. Look at him sitting there with Trump, with his little... That's crazy. See, look, if you are on X, you are already in the singularity. The rest of humanity is about to wake up. What? So Elon reposted that. Look at that. Look at that image. Look at that. He's just so overjoyed at what AI can do now. 11 hours ago, let's see. Apocalypse meow. That's weird. Look at that. The AI did that. Apocalypse meow. Where did the tweet go? Did he take it down? No, it's still here, right? 14 hours ago? He posted it at 1 o'clock in the morning. I made Maduro wear a prison outfit. Where? See, you can't even tell now a lot of what's going on, whether it's real or not. You know, you can make things happen. And oh my gosh, look at that AI cat. So where is the tweet? 14 hours ago? Oh my gosh. Psh. Okay, so I think I found it here. Moon base. XAI is what they're saying right there. 16 hours ago. Okay, so I'm not sure, honey, how I couldn't find it, but you found it, huh? Let me see. Very strange how I couldn't find that. But it was posted at 1 a.m. We have entered singularity right there. Why is it that I couldn't find that? Why couldn't I find that? That's just so weird. Why is it not on there? Did he hide it? Or maybe he responded to somebody, huh? He responded to somebody? Sometimes I still can't figure out how Twitter works. Anyways, I better get, guys. I know it's late. And I just thank God for hanging out with you guys, for all the things that are happening right now. We happen to be in the midst of as a time in history that just seems so surreal, that we're actually witnessing the unfolding plan of the ages right in front of our eyes. If you have eyes to see, that is, if you have ears that hear, and as it says, hearts that perceive, we have to be able to know the times that we're in. You know, Jesus said that to the Pharisees. He said, you know, you're able to detect the signs of the seasons. You can tell when it's going to rain, and you can tell when there's going to be certain types of weather. You're very good at predicting things, but you can't perceive or know the time of your visitation, when the fulfillment of your scripture, of your holy prophets, and everything that God has said to you over the history, you know, of you being a people that would ultimately culminate in the coming of Messiah. You can't even tell that he's standing right in front of you. And so we are, in many ways, very similar as believers today. We don't discern the times that we're in. And the Spirit of God is sitting here, you know, alighting upon us and in many people's hearts, testifying to the times that we're in. Give God time. Give him some place to speak to you and show you all in detail what's happening, because he wants to reveal all these secrets. You know, the scripture says he does not redo. The Lord said, I will not do anything except that I first reveal my secrets unto my servants. If you're a servant of the Lord, then you should be expecting prophecy, gifts of the Spirit. You should be expecting God to intervene in real time and in the world that we live. He's not just in the sweet by and by. You know, he's involved in every aspect of your existence, even in the here and now. And he wants you to overcome this world. You know, when it says the Antichrist is going to trample underfoot the saints and he's going to overcome them, it's talking about a physical, you know, happening that's outward. It's not about your inward spiritual, you know, overcoming spiritual life, because the Bible says that we overcome the world. We overcome the devil and the world by the word of our testimony, by the blood of the Lamb, and we love not our lives even unto death. And this is the victory that overcomes the world, even our faith. Who is it that overcomes the world? He that believes that Jesus is the Christ, that he is who he said he is. He came, he died, he was buried, was resurrected on the third day, was seen by men and of angels, and ascended into the heavens, the highest heavens, to sit at the right hand of the throne of God's grace, where he ever lives to make intercession for you and for me. Do you believe that? That is the mystery of godliness. And it says this mystery is great. You want to know the mystery of what it means to be human and ultimately to be in possession of eternal life? Well, then understand the incarnation. Understand that you are following in the footsteps of Christ by bearing a cross. And ultimately, you will overcome this world. And if you're in that end time generation, you're going to overcome it by loving not your life even unto death. You're going to have to be that committed. All right? I pray you are all committed 110%. Amen, Jeffrey. Blessings, brother. Thank you for that message. I did get your message on. We'll be in touch. God bless. All of you out there, in Jesus' name, be blessed and go with God, and he will go with you. Amen? All right. Thank you, Lord. Bless the people in Jesus' name. Continue to set everyone here apart for your holy purpose and ultimately preparing them for these times that we're in Jesus' mighty name. God bless all of you, and we'll see you soon. All right. Download the app. That's how you'll stay connected.